Okay, great. Thanks, Kelly. And thanks everybody for doing this. I've been wanting to do this for a while to test out if this is a good way for us to keep in touch, even after all this is over. If there's a way for us to be in more constant touch, since I can't always get around to all the council and see everybody in person. So I'm going to be looking down a little bit too. I have my iPad here, super high tech, so that I have some notes here for some things. Just to make sure that I cover everything. So what I'll do is go over a couple things that people ask us in the questions ahead of time, and I'll try to answer those. And I have my specialists online, my panelists. I have JD in her kitchen, it looks like. I have Kelly maybe in her bedroom, can't tell. Kelsey in her living room maybe, and Amanda in her kitchen. I know you probably know all them by name, but maybe you haven't seen them, so this is a great chance to see them. Again, I wish we could see all your faces, but I do know that it slows down the video sometimes if we have so many faces on. So I'm sorry that we can't do it with video for everybody. But again, I just want to thank everybody for everything you do. This is Volunteer Appreciation Month, but we appreciate you all the time. Obviously, Girl Scouts could not be anything without you. And especially this time, I've been really impressed by the stuff I see online that girls and troops are doing. I've attended virtual troop meetings with troops. I've gone to some of your service unit meetings. I've seen that you guys are making masks and you're doing volunteer work, and that you're helping draw pictures for hospice and other things, writing notes to seniors. So it's been really amazing just to watch Girl Scouts across our council really get involved like they always do, like they have for over 107 years. So thanks for all you do to help facilitate some of that. As we know,
Leslie, I think you got frozen.
I'm good.
Now you're good.
Okay, I don't know what's going on. Hold on one second. My internet is now kicking me off. Okay, am I still on? Okay, sorry about that. See, technical difficulties. We're all fighting through them right now. I know we are. Many of you are still working a job and taking care of your kids and also doing homeschooling. I know it's a big juggle for everyone. So safety and health has always been our top priority with the cookie sale, with the meetings, with everything. And same with our staff. We're all working from home. It actually was pretty easy for us to work from home. We all were ready technologically to kind of step out of the office. Luckily for us, we just were. And we had been doing a bunch of virtual stuff anyway. So I think it was easier for us than some other councils that I've talked to kind of transition. And so we'll continue to work from our homes until we hear otherwise from the city and or the state. So the biggest question that we got, a couple things I would say, is that we're always working to help still provide opportunities for the girls during this. And I hope you've seen that there's a program at least twice a week up online, sometimes more. We're trying to connect with other councils, so we have a variety of things for girls to do. There's things for parents to do. We aren't putting it out there super loud, but right now all of our programming is open to anybody. It's not just Girl Scouts. So if you know of friends who want to have their kid look at something, even if it's a boy, we won't say anything, anybody can use our programming right now. Our point is we want to help the community. We know it's a stressful time for everybody. And two, we want to introduce people to Girl Scouts who maybe haven't seen Girl Scouts before. So this is a great time for people to see what we're about. And so if you have friends and others who want to watch some of our stuff or participate, you absolutely should encourage them to do that. We're also putting up more troop leader and volunteer training online. So GS Learn is having stuff come up all the time, and you should check back regularly and look for your email alerts to see some of that kind of stuff. So of course, the biggest question we got in our questions to us was about cookies. And I'm going to answer a couple of the main questions, and then Kelsey's obviously here to jump in if you have other questions after. So my number one thing I want to make clear to everybody is nobody will be left hanging with the financial responsibility for cookies. We're working really hard to make sure that is not a burden for any family. in the meantime, how we're doing that is, you know, we have the cookie, I'm spacing the program name and Kelsey will correct me here a little bit. The ability for people to buy cookies online. People are buying them. I think people are still looking for comfort right now, and cookies offer those. They do not, that does not reduce our stock, but your girls can still get credit for selling those cookies online, and people are ordering them. And then also when people order online and donate, those will come out of our stock later. So keep encouraging people to do that. We are also doing what we're calling a business buyback, which is our development team and our staff have been working on, and we'd love for your help too, where we are contacting businesses, you've probably seen on our social media, to purchase cookies in bulk and taking them to the food bank. We've taken them to Children's Lunchbox. We've taken them to Campfire Kids after school program. And I got permission from the city of Anchorage to do this, and from Juneau too. Because we're not using kids, and it's just mostly just me actually taking big orders, and usually over 50 50 cookies boxes at a time. And so eventually what will happen is all the stuff that we are selling from our stock will be attributed to troops, and Kelsey can talk about how that will work later. But we're clearing out our stock so that I don't have to travel around door to door to your houses either and get exposed to you or you to me. And then eventually, again, don't worry, it's not that we're just selling our stock and not yours. We'll figure it all out at the end of the day. So it's just easier right now for me to do it from our stock. And for example, actually GCI just bought $6,600 worth of cookies. And so we're taking 60 boxes to food bank on Friday or Thursday, and then they have another 50 boxes or cases, and I'm not sure where they're taking them yet. But so we've gotten some pretty big purchases, and that's been great. And again, that'll be attributed out to everybody. I'll just say to the panelists on here, if you lose me, my internet looks like it's still kind of going in and out on my side. Someone jump in for me and take over if I get kicked out, and maybe send me a note on the chat. So some of the questions are, can I promote my troops online cookie sales even if I don't have a girl in the troop? For orders for donation or delivery after restrictions are lifted. Kelsey, you want to answer that one?
Sure, yeah, absolutely. So for the two programs that she was talking about, Cookie Care is very similar to Digital Cookie. That's basically customers can go online. That's more for an individual person. If it's a business, we wouldn't really suggest they go that route. But for Cookie Care, people can either purchase cookies for donation, which we will trickle down back to troops so that they can put those boxes to their troop gift of caring. And then the cookie donor buyout program, that is more with the larger businesses. So definitely, if you're feel free to post that on social media. The form is on our website, that kind of thing. If you have a business that's interested, they can contact myself or our development team, and we're happy to coordinate with them. All of these boxes at the end of the day will go back to the troops. Our number one priority is really to try and alleviate as much of troop inventory as possible. Right now, we're just doing it in a way where we can, like Leslie was saying, where we're going to get rid of what's in council because that's what we can do right now. So as things start to lift, we'll readjust and see what we can do.
I see a day two, based on what the mayor and the governor said yesterday, we're following their guidance carefully, where we might be able to do that troops are able to drop them on doorsteps too. I know we've been asked about that quite a bit. I don't think that what the governor and mayor have said so far allow that, but I do think that's probably coming in the next week or two. What are the other things? So that was one of the questions. Can we do non-contact delivery of cookies to friends and family? I'm not monitoring your every move. I really want you to think though about the safety of your girls, and I know you do. And so we're not encouraging it. It's not a council-wide thing that we're saying, yes, go out and do that. But I know you'll do what's safe for you and your family. What are we doing with incentives, Kelsey?
So there's no deadlines that we have right now. Obviously, our ultimate goal is to be able to restart our booth sales, at least for the time that we had missed out on those few weekends. So whatever timeline we're able to come up with, hopefully once we hear more about this hunker down that hopefully will be lifted in early May, then we can set those dates, and then all of the reward deadlines, finally CH deadlines, will all coordinate with that. So if your troop is done selling and they're ready to wrap up, we can wrap your sale up now. You can select your rewards. But right now we have no deadline. So there's no delay with the physical rewards from Little Brownie either. Those have already been produced, so we won't have issues with getting those from China, that kind of thing. But typically it's about 30-day window after we conclude the sale that you should probably have those in hand.
It says, I see a question over here. Are we able to still get cookies if we sell out of stock? I think that yes, you will be able to, but not right now. I think the current hunker down means that we shouldn't be doing a bunch of back and forth. But yes, eventually if you sell out of something, we'll do some, I'm sure some people have a bunch of some things and not a bunch of other things. So we'll do some redistribution of all that kind of stuff. It says, why are final payments still being required by troops if cookie booths and cookie deliveries have been suspended? JD, I don't know if you want to jump in, but there are some logistics. We need to pay our cookie vendor. We can't move forward on any program stuff until we, make good on our bill to the cookie companies. So there's partly that. And JD, did you have anything to add on to that?
Yeah, I sure do. We have not required final payment from any troop. The purpose of doing the additional ACH transfer that we did was to get a better understanding of what had truly actually been sold to that point. The only information that we have is how many cases the troops have actually taken from either the cupboard or what they ordered in their initial order. So beyond that, we don't know how many boxes or cases have actually been sold. So the idea was to get the funds for those actual sales and be able to bring those back into the council. It is money that is owed. And again, like Leslie said, there's money that we owe to pay for those cookies, to help continue to facilitate program, to be able to continue to pay our staff so we can continue to facilitate program and to be able to do things like this so we can provide information to the leaders and to the service units along the way.
I would encourage people with individual troop questions about finances to reach out to JD. And Kelly can type in our emails if you don't mind in the chat, Kelly, to make sure people have everybody's email. So definitely reach out to JD if you have individual troop questions about your finances. I also got asked, can troop leaders reach out to businesses to look out for buyouts? Absolutely, please, we'd love it. You know more people than we know, so all the network is great. Reach out to Kelsey if you have someone. We're trying to deliver 50 boxes or more at a time. So again, I mean, I'm delivering them. I'm glad to do that. It's fun. Actually, it gets me out of the house, but I'm also trying to limit my exposure as well. So, I make sure to wear a mask and all that kind of stuff. And when I deliver them, they're safe when they receive them. But 50 boxes or more, please coordinate through Kelsey, and I'm glad to deliver those. If you have more cookie questions, Kelly, are there any in the question Q&A that we need to know? Or
There is
anybody
one question.
Sure.
Let's see. I just took over as troop leader this year. The previous leader did not choose to order cookies. Can my girls still participate at this late date? And if yes, can someone contact me offline? The girls were disappointed they didn't get to participate.
Yes, we can definitely figure out how to get you some cookies and make sure your girls can still sell. So yeah.
We'd love your girls to sell some cookies. Yeah, so Kelsey, reach out to Kelsey, and our emails are in the chat right now, kpike@girlscoutsalaska.org. That's Kelsey. Also, like Kelsey said, we are going to try to do some booth sales. I feel a loosening coming in the rules coming up, and I have a feeling that grocery stores are not going to allow us in the grocery store. that's just a gut feeling I have, but luckily the weather's turning a little bit nicer. So we're really going to push, if they won't let us inside, we're really going to push them to let us at least stand outside the stores. And we advertised a lot during the first booth sales, and we saved some of our money from that advertising to keep advertising when it restarts again. So we'll be using some online social media to be pushing people that there are more cookies to be bought out there. All right, did I miss any? And you can come back later to cookie questions, so don't despair if I didn't answer your question. The next biggest question we get asked is about camp. And are we doing it? That's a good question. Thanks for asking. We don't know. Amanda's on here as our camp expert and Kelly as our camp director. We are monitoring the American Camp Association and their guidelines. Amanda was on a call this morning for quite a while, I think, and I think they are going to put out some guidelines with this in conjunction with the CDC about A, whether we can handle or offer camp, or B, how to offer camp if we are doing it. We hope to make our decision by May 1st. And again, I would like to really reassure everybody that anybody who is signed up for camp right now, if camp is canceled for this pandemic or whatever, you will get a full refund. So nobody should panic about, you know, I paid for camp, but they might not have it. So we are definitely, we've set aside all camp funds that we've received so far. We're kind of holding them over in a corner so that they never get spent, and we are ready to refund if needed. We want to have camp. We absolutely, positively want to have camp. It's just a matter of doing it safely. So we will be in touch about that. As Amanda said, that all of our resident day camps are gearing up, and they're already, you know, we've still been talking to staff and making decisions about that. So we are definitely acting as if we have camp, but we're just not sure that we can. If we do cancel all of our camp programs, we will figure out a way to hold some virtual camps that pivot somehow. We still want to include all the important traditions that they look forward to each summer, you know, camp songs, gratitude sharing, exploring the outdoors, and paddle lessons and those kinds of things. I see Amanda had to step away. Kelly, do you want to add anything? Oh, Amanda's back. Do you guys want to add anything about camp that I may have missed there?
Amanda, do you want to address cookie credits?
Oh yes, talk about cookie credits, thanks.
Yeah, I can absolutely do that. So we know people sell cookies to go to camp, and we want to respect that. We're working out what that policy can look like so girls don't lose their cookie credits. We don't have specifics on that yet, but do watch in the next couple of days, maybe week, for a survey. We absolutely want girl, troop leader, parent input on how we should move those forward. So we will make that decision in partnership with all of you. The final decision hasn't been made yet, but we are committed to making sure girls get to keep and use those credits.
Yeah, those will not go away. That's another promise I'll make you, that and we might offer, like Amanda said, we'll do some kind of survey so that we can hear from you, because I'm sure you have an idea that we haven't thought of yet. And we're checking with other councils to get some creative ideas how other people are using them. It probably will be some choices for you about how your girls want to use it. It won't just be they absolutely roll over to next year, although that could be one of the choices. So we hope to offer a couple different ways for you to use those credits. Anything else, Amanda, or anybody raising their hand? Kelly?
It looks like we have a question about if we move to a virtual camp, what the cost of that would be. Again, we have not made any decisions about that. And we'll work with everybody moving forward. We also know that everybody has kind of stretched finances right now, so we'll make sure we take all of that into consideration. It looks.
Amanda, I might say one thing about that. Some of you may or may not know, we always, when people ask us for scholarships for camp, regular camp, we give scholarships. So it wouldn't be any different for virtual camp than if people needed a scholarship. Amanda's got True there helping her on the line.
Yeah, yes, he's a commentary on a movie he's watching. We also had a question about fall product credits. Those we're working out a policy just like cookie credits. That's way less complicated. There's less product that's sold during the fall, but we will work out that policy just the same as cookies and make sure girls get to carry those forward.
Yeah, we won't leave girls hanging. Trust me on that one. I think that was all I see in the chat about that. Anything else about camp, Kelly and Amanda?
I don't think so.
Okay. There were some finance questions, and that's why we have JD here to answer those. On troop financial reports, how are they going to be done, JD? I talk about how they can access them on GS, MyGS, and VTK, and the timing.
Yes, so troop reports are not due until June 30th. So since that's still a little ways away, we're still considering that troop reports would need to be turned in just like they are every year. If we decide that we're going to give an extension on that, we will have decisions made by the end of May. So that gives you guys some time because generally you wouldn't start working on your report until after your May 30th bank account statement anyway. The thought also being that troops really haven't been able to do as many activities, haven't really been spending money like they were. So the troop reports truly should be a lot easier than they have been in the past. So hopefully we can still stay online with that. And it's just something you can get over and done with and don't have to think about it again, of course, until next year. So I'm sorry, Leslie, what was the other question that you had about that? Using VTK, there is the ability to do the electronic reporting online. A lot of troops have chosen to do the paper forms, but it's very quick and simple to do it in the VTK. And if you're not familiar with that, our membership staff can certainly help you. I can help you with that. Kelsey can help you with that. So you have a lot of resources out there to help you with getting into VTK and doing that reporting.
Yeah, our membership staff is glad to, they have some extra time too. I'll tell you about some other things we have going on, but they definitely have time to call and talk you through things. So you should take advantage of that. And you can reach any of them through Kelsey or Amanda and schedule a time that works for you to walk through different things. The other question was a return policy for store items. I think some of you bought some store items to do journeys and other things and whether you can return them. So I'll let JD talk about that, just the return policy, but just a note, this is a side note about the other thing that's going on in council is I put out in the newsletter before that we had our building up for sale and someone is buying it. Actually by Friday, I will know for sure if they got all their paperwork done, but all signs show that they will. So we are in the process of packing our office. So the store is actually about mid-packed. I think I saw it was over there yesterday and it's about mid-packed. JD, talk about returns and how that works with the store being closed and it'll be closed until we move and can get unpacked again, which might be a couple months. So also talk about the online store, please.
Right. So GSUSA is, we use our online sales through the website is tied directly to GSUSA. So when you make online purchases, it's actually coming from the national level. It's not coming out of our direct shop. So they are also offering free shipping. So anything that we would have had in our shop, they're going to have, plus a whole lot of other options that we wouldn't have had. But again, they're offering it for free shipping. So feel free to order online. Keep in mind, if you order something online and you do need to return it, you cannot return it to us. You do have to return it back to GSUSA. So if you've ordered things from us or if you purchased things from our store prior to COVID-19 and you need to make a return of patches because you guys didn't get to actually do that activity, yes, you can absolutely return those items to us. Our policy for returns is still the same with one exception. Generally, we require to have the receipt at the time of return. As long as those items are in their original packaging, they're resellable, they're in resellable condition, and it's something that we still carry in-house, I have no problem with taking those returns back for a full refund. You will need to pay for the postage to ship them back to us, but we absolutely will refund the full value of the items that you purchased.
So Maggie and Kelly both had two good points. Kelly, I should have said this before. Thank you for weighing in. The best way actually to reach membership is to email customercare@girlscoutsalaska.org, and the address is over in the chat. That'll make sure that somebody gets to you and that we can assign it to the right person. And then Maggie pointed out that if you need to order highest award pins from GSUSA, they can reach out to Maggie ahead of time. Maggie, put your email in the chat, but you can reach out to Maggie for the required documentation.
There's a question about STEM and monthly patches. No, the programs that we provide that our council is specifically developing and we're creating those patches, those come straight from us. So those would need to be returned to us or purchased from us. Right now, we are still available to sell and distribute any of our STEM or monthly program patches. The rest of the shop is packed up, all of our badges and vests and things like that. We're about halfway through that packing process. So those items will not be available through us until we reopen our shop at our new location.
When do you expect to pack up the badges, the STEM and patches?
We're gonna keep our STEM and monthly patches available until the very last moment. When we actually physically start moving into the new location and don't have access to our register, and we really do have to pack up everything, it'll probably be about a week or so that we might not have things available. But up until that point, we're still gonna be selling what we have available.
And Dory asked if there's shipping charges for stuff that comes from us.
We haven't implemented free shipping, unfortunately. We're such a small council when we're paying for the cost of that shipping. So yeah, we still do require that you pay for the cost of the shipping for those items.
And Dory asked, can we pick up? Dory, I think if things get relaxed a little bit more, our doors are definitely closed to the public per the mayor's and the governor's orders as a non-essential business. So right now, no, but if we get sort of looser here in the next 2 weeks where we could set things outside on the doorstep and that kind of thing, if they allow that, then yes, we could talk about that. And then Sherry asked about where the new office is. So we still haven't signed the paperwork, but hopefully today. We're getting closer. Every day I say that. It's a lot of back and forth, with a lease. So the office though that we are looking at is over on Minnesota in International. It's right next to the parking business that you could park to go to the airport. It's called the Airport Business Plaza. It might be a place you have never really noticed, but once you see it, you're like, oh yeah, I did know that was there. You probably can't picture where it is. I couldn't until I saw it. It'll be bigger. It'll allow us to have a space that you guys can come in and hold meetings there, we could do small program there. It's a chance to have more girls in our actual office. You know how cramped our office is right now. One of the biggest things that'll be we dream about is cookies as 2 giant garage doors to be able to drive up and drop the cookies in the building. Same as when you come and pick them up, your pickup's going to be a lot easier. I added up, we spend hundreds and hundreds of person hours every year loading those cookies in weird ways in our current building. And we lose use of our entire conference room we've lost use since February of our entire conference room. So it's just going to be a giant change for us. And then also allows our staff to not work 4 to a room. We had the flu run through our office last year like fire. And I hope that being able to spread out a little bit more will, especially in these current conditions, will allow our staff to be a little safer and have a little better spots to work to. And of course, our store is going to be there and everything else. And it has lots of parking. That's the other thing. There will be a place to park that's like not halfway down the block for everybody. Okay, so no one else has questions there. Membership, I'll let Amanda say some stuff about early bird membership. Why don't you talk about that, Amanda?
Yeah, real quickly, I just want to go back to the volunteer toolkit. Just so everybody knows, the financial reporting for this membership year is not live yet. So if you're going on there looking for that, you're going to be a little frustrated. GSUSA has to do some final edits, and then we have to do some edits on that. It'll be available soon. But the volunteer toolkit would be a really great resource to check out right now. GSUSA is loading more tools on there all the time. And so that's absolutely something you can check out and do some online badge planning or journey planning and get all those resources for free. If the VTK is super overwhelming to you, I would suggest checking out GS Learn. They have a series of videos to explain the volunteer toolkit, or just give us an email at customer care and we'll have a membership staff give you a call and help you walk through the whole process.
Great.
In terms of early bird and fill your troop, the nationally registration for next year is open. So if you want to go in there and register yourself for your troop, you can. And we know this is a really crazy time, so we're not pushing that right now, and we're certainly not saying you have to go register. We will launch early bird and fill your troop incentives. Right now, that's looking like it will be a May 1st launch. GSUSA has also pushed all of their launch of big initiatives to May 1st. So we're redesigning what those incentives will look like based on current conditions, and we'll have more information in the next couple of days of exactly what that's going to look like. But do be assured, if you go on there and you register right now, you will qualify for whatever those incentives are. You've done it way earlier than we're beginning, so you will qualify.
You're the early bird.
Yes.
That'd be great. One last thing about travel, and then I'll open it up just to answer some more questions. I've spoken, I think, to everybody who is planning travel this summer about, and everybody is just changing their trips because clearly it's probably not happening this summer. But I did get one question about, can a trip take a camping across scheduled for June 6th through 8th? So if that person who sent that question is on this call, why don't you contact Marnie? Can you put Marnie's email up there, Kelly? And let's talk about this individually. The person wanted to know if they can go camping June 6th through 8th. I don't know. We don't know what's going to change between June and now, just overall. So let's talk it out. I do think that's a little early to plan some group camping trips. I think you might find parents who actually just say no. So it might be more valuable to put it off if you can. But if that person's on this call and wants to talk to Marnie, we could do that. And her email's over in the chat. All right. So I didn't want to talk the whole time. And I know you guys have asked questions in the chat line, but Kelly, you want to open up the lines to anyone who wants to ask a question in person or say anything, do anything?
Yeah, do you want me to unmute everybody or just wait for people to raise their hand?
Why don't you guys raise your hand if you could. If we unmute everybody, it can get super loud if people have dogs and things in the background.
So if you have other questions that we have not covered, there's a raise your hand option, or if you can't find that, send me a message in the chat and I can unmute you and let you ask your questions.
Don't be shy.
All right. All right, Dory, go ahead.
Hi, sorry to keep asking 100 questions, but this is kind of regarding camp. I know no decisions have been made as to whether camp's going to happen or not, or get pushed back or whatever. But should the girls actually be signing up for camp? Because I have a handful of girls that have already signed up for camp, picking specific dates that work for them and their family. And like, should camp move dates? How does that work? How would that work theoretically in like moving them back, or would they be contacted individually to see if there was a better time that would work, or like how is that kind of playing out? Because Ms. Riddle, you said that the group camping trip that was asked about in June may or may not, work out because of how things are going. And typically camp starts in June. So how is that going to play out? Because, obviously we're all trying to plan for our summer. However, that's going to end up looking. But we're just trying to plan. We don't want to miss out on camp, getting into a camp, but we also don't want to sign up for a camp that we won't be able to attend either.
Yep, I think Amanda has some great answers for this.
Yeah, those are all really great questions. Again, to just reiterate, we haven't made decisions on camp. Things are changing every day, and so we're going to wait until we really have to make that decision. And I know that makes it hard for planning. Really feel free to sign up. If we end up not doing camp, we will refund everything to you. So there's no risk in you signing up, right? Financial risk in you signing up. Now, if we make a decision and we say something like, well, we're going to run camp, but we're not going to run June camp. We're only going to do July and August, and you've signed up for a June camp, we will personally reach out to you and help you reschedule your session with no change fee assigned to that change. We will do that personally and make sure you have a spot if you have already registered. We will make sure you're taken care of. Hi. Was that everything, or were there more?
Yeah, I also had a question that kind of played off of that. If, because a few of the girls that have signed up are for the 3-day camp, and they're the younger members of my troop, and they've done over 450 boxes of cookies, and they're super excited that the camp's going to be paid for with their cookie credits. If that camp session is to be canceled, they were excited to next year be doing the week long. And so my question is, and I know you guys haven't made a decision in concrete or anything, but if they aren't able to do the 3-day camp and they still have their 450 credit, would they be able to build on it next year? Maybe this is something you guys can take into consideration. Would they be able to build on to those credits that they already earned in order to get their week-long camp, because they would be missing out on the 3-day camp? Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's a great question. And that's part of what we're figuring out in all the cookie credit policies. We certainly want girls to be able to use those. And so exactly what you're describing is one of the options that we'll put forward to parents and girls and troop leaders and see if that's really what people are wanting. The other thing I just want to say about the schedule is we wouldn't necessarily say, well, all the June programs are gone and we're just starting where the schedule is in July. We would rework that schedule to make sure as many girls are able to go to camp as possible. And we can do safe experiences. So we would likely look at all of our camps at that point and redo a schedule, and maybe, for example, move 3-day camp or move Juneau camp. None of those decisions have been made, and we won't be able to make any of those decisions until we know when we can actually start camp. So just because a camp might be scheduled for June, I wouldn't right now lose hope that if we don't do June camp, that camp won't happen.
Okay. Thank
Great.
you.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for answering, Amanda. I got kicked out. Probably for talking too much.
Okay, let's see if anybody else has questions. I don't see anything else in the Q&A or the chat or any hands up, so feel free to do those things. Leslie, is now a good time to do the poll while people kind of process and see if they have more questions?
Yeah, so we put together a couple of questions that just allows you to give us your opinion privately, and Kelly can put those up. And if you would take 2 seconds to take them, it'd be great. It'd help guide us in some decision making. Go ahead, Kelly. you don't see, it popped up on my screen. So if you don't see it, holler in the chat. Cool. There's like 5 questions, I think. Scroll down if you only see a couple questions. There's 3 total.
3 questions. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you should be able to answer more than one answer per question as well.
I know one of the questions is about fall product. I know it seems crazy to be thinking about fall product, but Kelsey's like thinking about fall product every day. We actually have to make some decisions by May 31st. So that's why we ask about fall product, just to get a sense of what people are going to want to do. I know this doesn't obligate you to anything right now. We're just trying to get a sense of where people might be on fall product. Kelly, on the poll, does the poll stay live for a little bit or just right now?
It stays live until I end it.
Okay. So while you guys are still doing that, we'll go ahead and wrap up, and you can still jump in with a question. But again, if we didn't get to your question and you want to talk to any of us individually, we are still answering our phone. Our front desk person, Sean, that many of you know, she lives next door, and actually our phone works at her house. So she takes the phone home and she can direct calls. You can also, our phones dial into our computers. So if you have our phone numbers, you can just call us and it comes through to our computer as well. So our main line is 248-2250. We'll put that in the main thing. Let's see. 248, oh wait, gotta make sure I do it to everyone. Or shoot us an email and you'll be able to reach us. We're glad to talk to you.
Kelsey,
we hope to move it. Oh, go ahead.
Kelsey, there's a question about who makes decisions on rewards for fall product and cookies. Do you want to address that?
Yeah, so it's kind of a team effort. So if you have some ideas, definitely send them our way. I am not a mother of a Girl Scout, so I'm always looking for the in on what's hip and new in the world of children right now. So if you have ideas, definitely send them our way. It's kind of a team effort. This year specifically, we really worked on, you can see my dog back here. We really worked to try to get girls more of an experience versus maybe just like a piece of technology. In the past, we were giving away computers and that kind of thing. We really wanted to relate more to our program. So that's one of the factors that goes into picking those rewards. I also saw that Kim had a question here about cookies expiring in September. What do we do if we can't sell them before then? We will definitely have this figured out before September. So don't worry. I would like to have it figured out much sooner rather than September. So don't worry about cookies expiring. We'll get that all figured out.
Yeah, our goal is not to let this thing drag on even into the summer. We'd really like to wrap it all up in May, if at all possible.
I want to add one more thing about the decisions on rewards for fall product and for cookies. So each of the companies that we work with, they pick a theme every year, and then they pick a baseline of possible rewards that fall within the parameters required for us to run our programs so that it keeps us in compliance for tax purposes. So we get a limited number of rewards to choose from within that theme. And then from there, we decide from those items what we want for what level. So there is some limitation on what we choose. There are a few items that are chosen at the council level, but like Kelsey said, we were definitely, especially with cookies, trying to make some things more of an experience instead of an item. But we do have the item as the other option for cookies for this year. So the other thing that we do is we send out questionnaires and polls so that the troop leaders and the girls can help select the items that we have to choose from. And we did that through encampment this last year. had people vote on the items that they would want at certain levels. So we definitely try to take the consideration of our volunteers and our Girl Scouts. We try to take their opinion into consideration as well.
Kim said she thought the experience options were cool this year. Thanks. I do too, Kim. I'd like to do them all.
Me too.
Fun. I don't want to keep people on the line if you don't have more questions. I really appreciate you tying in today. Like I said, we're doing this at 4 and 7 today. It's going to be the same thing. You're totally welcome to tie in more than once, but you may be bored because we're going to kind of go over the same questions. But if you have other leaders that you want to tell to tie in at 4 and 7 or 7, that'd be great. If you feel like this is a useful format, let me know, and we can offer it at other times as well. Glad to do it anytime that it seems useful. I know we're all zoomed out right now. This is my 3rd Zoom of the day. I will have done 6 by the end of the day. So, but I did get some meatloaf done during one of them because when I listen, I can do stuff like make meatloaf. So I did find it double useful. So if you have any more questions, shoot us a note or an email, but have a great day, everybody. Anybody else on the panel have anything else to say?
There's a question about doing another webinar later this month, and I assume we'll just do our best to keep everybody updated in as many ways as possible.
I could actually, that's a good point, Dory. I actually think that as they relax the rules on Hunker Down, we might have another one because I think we actually will have a lot of information to share as everything starts changing. So yes, we probably will. And I just don't know the date yet. So I probably will schedule it around what we know that's happening in the city and state. And I know I keep talking about the Anchorage mayor, but I've also been in touch with the Juneau mayor, or their office, not the mayor specifically, neither mayor specifically. I think they're pretty busy right now, but their offices have been pretty helpful. And but that doesn't mean the other communities, I think the other communities are basically following the state. So that covers us there. All right, thanks Dory and everybody else. And nice to talk to you guys. Sorry I couldn't see everybody. Have a good day.